That's okay. A little over 15 years ago, I was introduced to this big idea that you could take your knowledge, your ideas, your experience, your passion, and your expertise and turn them into products that could be sold offline and online. Now, I was given this big idea probably around 30 to 35% into the big real estate boom. Now, why is that significant? Because the gentleman who introduced me to this idea was a real estate guru that I had been following and been putting into practice the things that I was studying from him. And he invited me to a conference in Orlando, Florida. Now, the revelation came when I got to this conference in Orlando, Florida, that wasn't about real estate, which puzzled me again, because here's a gentleman who I had studied and was being quite successful, was able to buy and sell homes and raise private capital. So I was doing pretty good in real estate, but here he is asking me to come to a conference in Orlando, Florida to learn something that had nothing to do with real estate. And so here's where the big revelation came. I walked into the room and there was Agora Publishing and some of the largest and legendary direct marketing copywriters on the planet. And this real estate guru revealed that he made more money selling the home study courses than he did in buying and selling real estate in his local market. Did you catch that? Did you hear me? He made more money selling the information, the how-to products. How many of you have seen those Carlton Sheets commercials and Ron LeGrand's and all of this? A whole bunch of them out there now. And so at this conference, it was all about turning this information into these home study courses and newsletters and things like that. And there was this small segment about the internet. It was just starting up, so this was kind of fresh. It was new, but that part intrigued me. Anyway, after the conference, I purchased a license to that course that I was able to sell for $397. I ran a classified ad and sold 3 of those courses, which was 16 cassette tapes and 2 manuals for $397 that people bought. So I made my money back immediately. So I was hooked. I came home, sold those courses, then I started an online newsletter, or what we called back then an e-zine. That's what they said to do in this small portion. I was still nervous, but I started building my list. I built my list to around 400 to 500 people. My passion, of course, is black people and entrepreneurship. And so my first site was called howtobeabblackentrepreneur.com. I started engaging with the people on my list, and they started asking me questions about what I was doing in business and entrepreneurship. And so they knew that I was doing real estate, and so they asked this question: Brother Bedford, how are you making money with those ugly houses that you're always talking about? So I said, well, let me show you how I did that. So I sat down and I typed out this 11-page report called How to Make $2,000 a Month Flipping Nasty, Stinking, Ugly Houses. I uploaded that on my server, which took forever. Remember, this is around 14 years ago now, so the internet wasn't as fast as it is today. I said that I'm going to follow what they said in that small segment, and I'm going to sell this report for $7 for this 11-page report. It really could have been a 2-page report, but I had to beef it up so it at least looked like it had some value. I was nervous. I went to bed that night. I waited to the very last possible moment to send that email out to my list. I didn't create a sales letter or anything. I woke up the next morning. I avoided my computer. I did not really want to look at it because I was nervous. I didn't think this stuff worked. And then all of a sudden, I said, well, let me look. And it happened. Notification of payment received. Notification of payment received. And you know, I'm thinking, it's tripping, right? This is not, so I refreshed. I say, this is not real. So again, Notification of payment received, notification of payment received, notification of payment received. So I went to the next page, and there they were again, notification of payment received. By the end of that 24 to 36 hour period, I had sold 212 of these little $7 reports. I made $1,400. That was the easiest, quickest $1,400 I'd ever made in my life legally. I was hooked. I started creating other digital products. I mean, we literally created dozens of audios and teleseminars and reports that I was selling, and they were just going like gangbusters. My list was growing. And then in this process, I came across a book called Conversations with Millionaires. It had one black person in the book, Wallace Famous Amos. Who remembers him from Famous Amos Cookies? He was in the book. But then the idea hit me. Man, wouldn't it be nice if someone interviewed our entrepreneurs, our millionaires, and put it into an ebook? So I said, well, I'm having success, let me try it. I was studying 2 books at that time that everybody said if you are serious about being an entrepreneur or business owner or creating wealth, you must read these 2 books. How many of you remember what those 2 books were? Say it out loud, come on. A Black Choice by Dr. Dennis Kimbrough, and what was the other? Success Runs in Our Race. So I said, well, I might as well go for it. So I called down to Cleveland, Ohio. Young lady answered the phone. I said, hi, my name is Brother Bedford, and I got an idea for this ebook that I want to create, and I would like to interview Mr. Frazier for this book. She said, well, I don't know if Mr. Frazier would be interested in anything like that. I said, well, I tell you what, let me leave you my number, and if he's interested, to give me a call. She said, well, he's out of town. She said, why don't you try back in 6 months? Yeah. I was a little persistent. I said, well, I tell you what, if he's interested, give me a call. She said, fine. My phone rang 5 minutes later. I heard like airport noise in the back. And there was a voice on the other end. It said, young man, this is George Frazier, and I heard that you want to interview me. Y'all know what was happening, right? I said, Mr. Frazier, I would love to interview you, but I can't do it like this. I need you to call into a phone line, and then I will call into a phone line, and then I can press record, and then we can have the interview. He said, I'll be in my office in 15 minutes. That gave me enough time to write 5 questions. He called in, I called in, we started the interview, and me and George, it was still Mr. Frazier at that time, talked for about 1 hour and 35 minutes. He gave me so much content. So now you know I'm hooked. So what did I do? I picked up the phone. I called Dr. Dennis Kimbrough's office. Same response. Well, I don't think that Mr. Kimbrough would be interested. I said, well, let me leave my name and number. Next thing I know, this bellowy voice called me back. Hi, this is Dr. Kimbrough. I hear that you want to interview me. I said, yes, sir. Same process. Called into a free conference call line. Let me drop that nugget there that anyone can do this. freeconferencecall.com. Interviewed Dr. Kimbrough. So I can't stop there. So I called Les Brown's office. Pretty much the same thing, but here's where it started to shift. Because his assistant asked, well, who have you interviewed already, young man? I said, well, I've interviewed Dr. Frazier, Dr. Kimbrough, and of course, Les Brown said, well, oh, no problem. Right? Couldn't stop there. I was in love with Kathy Hughes, still in love with Kathy Hughes. So I called her office. The young lady there said, why don't you email her? She answers her emails. So I emailed for the interview request. She shot back, said, who have you interviewed? Well, I said, I've interviewed Dr. Kimbrough, George Frazier. Y'all get it? Y'all get it? And it was going. So I just kept going. I interviewed Lisa Nichols, Dr. Michael V. Roberts, and so on and so on. No one has told me no. So we compiled the first 9 interviews into an ebook. We called it Conversations with Black Millionaire Entrepreneurs. And then we started releasing it. We sold this PDF document for $27. People started downloading. Then we put together a press release, said, young budding entrepreneur seeks millionaire advice and gets it. You know what started happening? I started getting calls from radio programs all across the country saying, hey, we want to hear what they told you. Syndicated radio is a blessing, y'all. So I got on there and they would ask me, well, what did you learn from that? I said, well, Dr. Frazier taught me this, or Kathy Hughes told me this. And they said, well, how can they get this ebook? I said, all they got to do is go to conversationswithblackmillionaires.com. And the rest is history. We sold literally thousands and thousands of downloads all over the world. And people used to ask me, because when people say, well, where are you from? And I say Detroit, based upon the headline, oh, well, we got some hometown people in here. But some people would say, oh, looking at the headlines, oh, you okay? I'm like, I'm fine. But they used to ask me because this ebook thing was new. And they said, are any black people buying ebooks in Detroit? I said, I don't care if they ever buy an ebook in Detroit, because I was selling ebooks in London, the UK, South Africa, Barbados, everywhere that people had an internet connection, they were buying. So you get it here, you can take your own knowledge, experience, your ideas and expertise and create digital products or information products and sell them. But then look at how the power increased by adding and collaborating with others who had influence, who had reach, who had impact. You want to know another way that it became more powerful? I didn't hear you. Y'all act like y'all don't like it. Y'all okay? Okay. Trust me, some of you are not going to be able to sleep tonight because of what I'm sharing. The ideas are just going to begin to swirl in your head, and you're going to wake up at 2:30 in the morning, and you're going to say, that damn Brother Bedford, I can't sleep. Here's the way that it became more powerful. This thing here. Everyone has a mobile device, right? So now we fast forward, and now I'm learning that I can create engaging and compelling content and create products right from my mobile phone and press send. And people are getting it immediately. They're getting podcasts immediately. They're downloading my ebooks. Using this strategy, I was able to partner with some of the biggest brands in the world, Amazon, Google, YouTube. You say, how do you partner with them, Brother Bedford? Because they want you to create engaging and compelling content so that you can romance their customers, seduce their customers, and they will promote you. Let me tell you what ended up happening to that project, Conversations with Black Millionaire Entrepreneurs, and then I'm going to end up coming back to this, okay? Is everybody all right? Those interviews became a podcast. The same interviews with George Frazier, Dennis Kimbrough, Les Brown, Kathy Hughes became a podcast where I get 8,000 downloads every month of new people wanting to listen to George and listen to Keith Weish and all of the others that I interview. How's that for generating some leads? Can't stop there. Those same interviews was transcribed. I sent the audios to a service called Fiverr.com. Y'all should write that down. It's the eBay of services. And got the audios transcribed, and now I have books on Amazon called Conversations with Black Millionaire Entrepreneurs, Volume 1, Volume 2, soon to be Volume 3 and Volume 4. But here's what happens. When someone goes on Amazon and they're Googling George Frazier, guess who pops up? George pops up, but I also pop up too. And then when people buy Dr. Dennis Kimbrough book, you know what happens? Look at what Amazon does. People who bought this book, see, look at there. We've created a web of engaging and compelling content that works for any business. Right now, you have no excuses. Your ideas, your knowledge, your experience, your passion can be seen, heard, read on every mobile device. There are 15 billion mobile accounts on the planet. Some of you got 2, 3 phones, tablets, desktops, laptops. And we can't even get away from them. We sleep with them. And your content can be delivered directly to their mobile devices. So as I get ready to close, I would do a demonstration just to show you how quick it can be delivered to your phone. Do me a favor. Text JOIN. If anyone wants to do it, you don't have to, but I want you to see. Text JOIN, J-O-I-N, to the short code 58885. And then you'll just press agree, and then what you'll see immediately is a video coming right back to your mobile phone of me that you could be doing to seduce your customers, to introduce your ideas and all of these things into the marketplace. So now I close. I was speaking in Los Angeles. Text JOIN. It's a short code. When you're sending it to someone, that number that you should put in is just 58885. And in your message, just text the word JOIN, J-O-I-N. This is just so that you can see how it works and how all of you should be doing this. This should be on your business cards. It should be on your billboards, where if people want to contact you, they should text these numbers, and then you send out information to them in an instant. I close. I was in Los Angeles, and I was doing this workshop, a bigger version of what we're going to do today. And I was speaking with Mr. John Brown, who's out in Los Angeles, and he was talking to me about my business. We had a great conversation. He said, "Brother Bedford, you seem at peace with your business." And I thought about it. I said, man, that is probably the greatest compliment, that I'm at peace with my business. And then I thought about the process, and I could see why he said that. So I want you to imagine with me, okay? Can you imagine? I want you to bring up a picture in your head. I want you to imagine getting up in the morning, walking down the steps, turning on your computer. Of course, this is after your prayer and meditation. Going to get your favorite beverage, your water, your coffee, or whatever you juice. And then you go back to your computer. Then you see those 4 words. Those 4 words. Probably the greatest 4 words since "let there be light." Those 4 words: notification of payment received. Don't you feel a peace? Can you imagine that? Every morning, notification of payment received. I love you, but I love notification of payment received just a little bit more. So that's my time. I'm here to answer questions and meet and greet with everyone. Thank you for coming to the PNC, and I hope to see you real soon.
Can we give another round of applause to Brother Bedford? Notification of payment received. Can we all say cha-ching? Cha-ching. I tell you, that was wonderful, and we're going to continue on with our Power Talks. And now we're going to bring to the stage another one of our amazing presenters with a big idea that matters, and that is Miss Suzanne Hart.